Gardening supplies are at Walmart for spring. Today we're going to take a look at flowers, fruits, veggies, berries, and all of that. So come along with me and let's take a look to see all that they have in store for us. My name is Marlene. Welcome to my home and garden channel. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this part of the store. So the first thing I saw was some petunias, and these are quite pretty. But what I will say is that it's a little bit early, I think, for petunias to be put out because if you get a hard freeze, they will not be able to handle it. These right here are some dianthus. They hold up much, much better. So these would be a good choice for you to get for your garden right now. And this is not sponsored, by the way, guys. I just happen to, like to come into different garden centers and show you what they have so you can make good decisions based on what you want to do for your garden. Over here now we do have some more dianthus, but these ones are the single ones, so they don't have that double row of petals or multiple row of petals that you saw in the one just before. And they're actually perennials, guys, so when you plant them, they go down in the winter and then they come back up every year and they're able to handle the cooler weather. These over here are some more petunias in the hanging baskets, that's a pretty good price for a hanging basket, I would say. But again, I think it's a little too early in the season for petunias. I'd say wait until after your last frost date. These are some geraniums, a little bit more hardy. These are going for $14.88. So definitely check to see what your growing zone is. These are much better to handle the colder weather, guys. These are some pansies, and I talk about pansies time and time again. You can see same price, $9.97, and down here we have $8.88 for the ones that are in the little containers that you'd put, like on a stand or perhaps on the floor. So they can actually hold up much better to the colder weather. So that would be a good choice for you in the very late winter and early spring. And these are some spring blooming bulbs right here. And these are perennials, so they come up year after year, as you can see there. These are some similar ones, but they had not come out as much, and they're in a smaller size. And if you notice that the tips of them, they have a little bit of frost damage there. So I would look carefully at the ones that don't have any damage and choose those ones out. We had really fluctuating weather this winter, so the plants are showing all of that. And here's a beautiful one right here, very, very gorgeous. This one is called Pericalis for $9.97. It can be a tender perennial in some areas and in most places annual if you have, like harsh winters. But it's so pretty and it can withstand cooler weather. But if it's going to become a hard freeze, I would say take it indoors, maybe in your garage or something like that. Now let's take a look at some of the herbs that they had over here. This is a purple basil. I've never tried that one before myself, but that's definitely something worth trying. You can see how much they're going for, guys. The spearmint, they had that one there. And they also had flat Italian parsley. And of course, they had cabbages. And these are perfect for this season. This is the right time to plant them now, right in the early spring or late winter. So that way they're available for you. So when the weather gets warm, they're already fully established. And then next to them, we have some strawberries. And aren't those wonderful? $5.98. And this is a gift that keeps on giving. You plant them and you get more and more coming off from the little runners that come off. So you'll have them for years to come. So I always say buy strawberries. If you see them, it's $5.98 per pot. They say I'm seeing two prices. I'm not sure. I would go for the lower one unless I'd show them that there are two labels, so we need the lower one. And they have some rosemaries there. They're perfect along with the lavenders for cooler weather, so they can withstand it. So it's perfectly fine to plant those right now. Tomatoes, on the other hand, those are definitely warm weather plants. So I would say do not plant those if it's really cold, like say anything that's below upper 50s for your overnight temperatures. It's not a good time to plant tomatoes because they're going to struggle and they're not going to do well. So I would hold off on those. And I'm just giving you my opinion based on what I've noticed. You, of course, can decide what works best for you and for your garden. But you can see all the different varieties that they have there. Over here, now they have some ferns, and these are beautiful. Ferns are kind of tropical too, so you can get them, yes. But again, if you are going to have a hard freeze or temperatures dropping, say, below 50, I would want to bring those indoors just to make sure that they are safe and they're healthy, because you don't want to shock your plants. And these are some other fern types over here. These are actually asparagus ferns, and I always like seeing them. And they're a little bit more hardy than the Boston fern, but I'd say same rule applies. If it's going to be that cold, bring them in. These are some spider plants over here as well. I would say the same thing there again. So just watch the weather, watch your growing zone, and see what would work best based on your area. These are some smaller asparagus ferns. If you're not in the budget to get a larger one, you can always get a smaller one, or like put multiple ones in a container. I may try to get some of these right here. This is vinca, the one that's a vine, maybe like a nice pillar in one of my container gardens for the spring or summer. I think they're really, really gorgeous. And then over here now they have some tuberous begonias. And these are different than the wax begonias that I talk about time and time again. But they're very, very wonderful. The tubers look kind of like a potato when you plant them. And you can see it says shade combo. And that's a pretty decent price based on what you're getting in there. You can divide them out if you want to in larger containers, or just have them stay in this one. And they have the creeping Jenny that's cascading off to the side. You can see they're very spring-like colors that they have here. And they're hanging baskets, so they work really, really well in any space. And then over here now, this is a creeping Jenny. So let's say you wanted to put your own together. You can get some of these and just arrange them how you want. Over here now we have this is called false cypress, and it's a shrub. And the color that you see, there's exactly how it stays. And I think it's pretty. And that color is becoming more popular in the garden in recent years. And this right here, these are some small cherry trees. And I thought they weren't real. I had to feel them to see if they were real or not. And they are. I think they're really cute. And over here now they had some gerbera daisies, and they had some ferns below them. And I'd say similar rule again, just take a look at the growing zones, what they recommend, see what the tag says, and then make your decision based on that. I did plant gerbera daisy last year, so I can't say for sure a fact in my growing zone 8 if they do come back or not. So we're going to find out in another few weeks or so to see if they make a comeback, and if not, then I'll let you know in a future video exactly how they fared out. But I've always loved gerbera daisies. My grandmother used to like them, and I like them too. Now, this was my little secret surprise right here. I know that pansies smell sweet, but these ones right here, guys, oh my goodness, I could smell them from like about 8 feet away. And I was like, what is that sweet smell? And I said, could it be those? So I went over, and all of them in this container, they smelled so, so sweet. I had the yellow ones, and theirs are good, but I didn't know those colors did too. And these are some azaleas over right here. Some of them are coming into bloom, as you can see. That price isn't really bad based on what you're getting. This is an annual that gets larger and larger, and it just is so beautiful. And my last video, I showed you how you can use them in your landscape. So I'm going to link this at the end for you, so you can go ahead and check it out to see how beautiful this can become in your space. And over here, this is another cool weather plant, or flower, I should say. This is snapdragon, and this is a good time to put them down. They are tender perennials in some areas where they will come back, maybe for 2 or 3 years, and then they may not after that. But they like cooler weather. And so this is the some additional azaleas right here. This is a smaller variety, so you see that the petals are a little bit smaller, and they don't grow as tall as the other one, but they're equally beautiful once they fluff out, and everything it looks so gorgeous. And if you're liking this video so far, be sure to give me a thumbs up, guys. Over here now we have some hibiscus, and I honestly think that it's definitely too early for hibiscus. Some of them are hardy to a certain degree, yes, but I think it's still cold for them. So I would hold off a little bit unless you're going to be able to bring them indoors, if they're going to be getting like a cold snap, or cover them over with like a blanket, a frost blanket. And they had some yellow ones here as well too, also equally gorgeous. But I think I prefer the pink one. But let me know what's your favorite. Over here now we have some kalanchoe, and these are something that you always see, in the garden centers. They make nice little gifts in smaller containers like these right here for you, like a little desktop, or like your kitchen counter, where you have adequate light, because they don't need bright light. They just need some light. And they're pretty hardy, not easy to, unless you overwater them, because they don't need a ton of water. Otherwise, they'll hold up pretty well. So I say this is a good plant to start off with if you just want a little something in the ear, maybe like on your workstation or something like that. Next, we're moving on to the grapes and the berries. So let's go ahead and see what we have over in this area. We're going to go around this section here to see what they have. All right, guys. So over here now they have the grapes. And what I like about this is that they put 2 different varieties together. And you can see the price right there. Because, some berries and some types of fruit-bearing trees, they need 2 of them. to ensure that you have a bountiful supply of fruits, sometimes even just that you get fruits to begin with. So they're giving you 2 of them there, so that way you know that you'll definitely get them cross-pollinating, and you also get, an adequate amount of fruits coming from that. So I think this is wonderful that they did this for us, and they're already sprouting out, so you can see that they're alive. But I'd say hurry up and put them in, because these plants, they want to be established by the time the weather gets really hot. So don't delay on these. If you wanted to get some, I'd say go ahead and do so. And I'm planning on getting one myself, or maybe 2. We'll see how it goes. For my space, to see how they're going to turn out for us. And I just can't wait to do that. And it says non-GMO, which I love that. Over here, it's a similar situation for the strawberries. And you see, they say 30 roots, that they're giving you a lot. So I think that's a really good deal. We can see inside, which, I usually like to see what I'm buying a little bit. So there's some trust that we're going to have to put in this vendor, just to see how it turns out. But you have to try. And if it doesn't work within a certain time frame, we can always take it back. Let's take a look now at the section where you have some veggies and some flowers as well. So let's go and see what's in this particular part of the store. So these are asparagus, and asparagus, they are perennials. This is something that will, feed you year after year, but it does take a few years for it to be fully established. So do bear that in mind. With this plant, you will have to practice some patience on it. And it says Jersey Giant, so I guess it's going to be really big. And these over here, this looks like some garlic right here. I've never grown garlic myself, guys. So if you have grown garlic, tell me, how it worked out for you. Was it easy to grow? Did you have lots of challenges with it? These to me just look like something you'd get from the store anyway, and just plant them, refrigerate them and then plant them. But let me know, if you've ever grown these, if you have success with them. And they have some onions over there, and they have potatoes as well. And they also have the sweet potatoes there as well too. So, and just to take a look at how it is, it just looks like some smaller potatoes to me that, are good for, I guess you call them like starters, to get going in the garden and get them going for you there. So there is so much over here. More onions there again, and I like red onions. I like them on my salads and sandwiches sometimes. So that's so good to see. And this right here, this gives you a lot. For $3 and change, I'd say that's a lot. $3.46. Now to the flowering shrubs. You guys know I love hydrangeas. I've done quite a few videos on those, and I just love these plants. So they give you Nico Blue and PG Pink. So you have a combination there. And you have Forsythia, and that looks like wisteria right there. And you can see they're springing up there. So it's a good time to get them. And again, put them down now so they can get established before the weather gets really, really hot, because they do prefer that. And in this box over here, you can see the forsythia, they were all gone. And I can understand why. It's an absolutely beautiful plant. They're blooming right now. And when you see them, you say, oh, I want to get one too. And then typically you do. And I know that in just a matter of time, most of these are going to be gone. I've never seen lilacs in my ear. I don't think I have, but I'm sure they grow if they have them in our garden center. This is the one that I love to see, especially at, in the early spring when they bloom. They look like little snowballs, the viburnum. This is wisteria over here. This can be a little bit, invasive, as well as honeysuckle. So when you get these, make sure that you're prepared that they're going to spread a lot. So you have an area where they can grow and really be themselves. Another hydrangea here, but this is just one root for $6.88. And in my previous videos where you see me show my blue hydrangea, this is exactly how mine started out, guys. It started right there, and it's so beautiful now. Over here they have trumpet vine, and the hummingbirds love these, but again, it's a spreader. Over here now we have some tuberous begonias, and this is what I was saying earlier. You can make your own container, just plant them in the spring now, and then you can plant some creeping Jenny, here and there in the pot, and it's going to be just as beautiful as the one you saw at the beginning of the video. These over here, these are some gladiolas, and I love gladiolas. I think I'm going to do a future video next few weeks or so about gladiolas, because you plant these, in the spring, and then they come up and bloom in the summer. And these are some hostas, so if you have a shade garden, then these would be perfect for you. And down here, guys, if you've been watching my channel, I do a lot of iris videos. One of my most watched videos is an iris video, and so I absolutely love them. So I highly recommend them. If they'll grow in your growing zone, if you see them in your garden center, then they definitely will. And I'm in growing zones 8, and it is perfect for them. They come up every year, and they just multiply, and it is just so wonderful. All you have to do is just divide them. And these ones here, they're like little cousins to the larger ones. Over here now we have some dahlias or dahlias, and these are always so beautiful. In more milder climates, milder winters, you can just leave them in the ground. But I'd say maybe like colder areas in growing zones 8 or colder, you may want to take up the tubers, the roots over the winter and then plant them again in the spring. So they keep on giving. Elephant ears is very tropical, so this one you will want to take it up, after it dries down in the fall and just store them in a cool, dry place. Some people use peat moss or, different things to cover them and then just plant them again. So these are the gifts that keep on giving. You invest in them and they pay you back so well. And these are some peonies down here. I did a video last season about peonies. They smell so sweet and they're so gorgeous. So if you're thinking about it, I would say don't hesitate, get them, because you want to plant them in the cooler weather, 1, and 2, you don't want them to all go away before you get yours. And over here, these are actually some variations of poppies, just different varieties that they have. You can see how beautiful they are. So if you wanted to try those, I'd say go ahead and get them. And you can just start them in large containers to begin with if you're not too sure how they'll, fit in with your whole landscape. Just try them out in maybe like, maybe a raised bed or a container just to see how they go. Now we're moving on to the plants that are indoors. And this is the prayer plant. Very, very beautiful, Calathea. And they have some philodendrons over here as well. Just, many different types of house plants they have here for you. And I would say, though, try, with the ones that are easier, low maintenance first. And, as you go along, you can always, add more to those. And this one right here, it's a fiddle leaf fig. Very, very beautiful. And right next to it, we have the snake plant, which is one of the most low maintenance plants that I can think of. I think it's really hard to kill this one, unless you really water it all the time. Once you let it dry out a little bit, then you should have success with it. So I would say start off with that one, if nothing else. And here are some beautiful Dracaena varieties, guys. And I think they are loved by both seasoned and new gardeners. And you can see the prices that they're going for and the orchids here as well. Over here, these are some, they call them flamingo flowers in some areas, or anthuriums is the more proper name for it, or I'd say the book name for it. I didn't like how the flowers were looking on these, to be honest, so I would not recommend them right now, but it's a good plant to have if you see some nice looking ones. These are some sago palms over here. They're very tropical, and you can grow these, indoors, or maybe put them outdoors in cooler areas over the summer. Now let's move on to seeds. These are some herbs, so many different types. Guys, you can see how many they have. Whatever you need, I see that they have them there. And this is not sponsored, but I just, like coming to garden centers to see what they have and, what will work for us so we can get the best deals. Over here now we have the flowers. Those were for $1.96. And of course, even if you just like all vegetables in your garden, that's the main focus for you. Flowers are important because they do bring the pollinators, especially like those lovely zinnias right there. They bring them in and they help our plants to pollinate. So we want to have flowers in our garden. And here are some other ones over here. Some of these I've grown myself. And just to say that, if you, have not been with my channel for a long time, you can always just go and you can tap on the channel icon, go to the videos tab, and you can just scroll and you can see all the videos I did. And you can take a look at some of the previous ones to see how I covered many of these that you're looking at right here. But I just love flowers, guys. We have to eat food, of course, but I just love flowers. I think they're very calming and relaxing, and I just like to watch nature, birds, bees, and butterflies coming around them. So I think it really lifts your spirit and gets you going. So many sunflowers are right there too. So many varieties. And nasturtium, that's an edible flower, so I'd say that's definitely one you want to have, and it's good at keeping certain pests away from your garden. Over here now they have the organic heirloom seeds. I heard someone saying recently that they weren't seeing heirloom seeds. Well, here you go. There they are. Broccoli, carrots, spinach. And it's good to get those going, as soon as your last frost date has passed. If you're planting them outdoors, if it's, indoors, you can start them ahead, like 6 weeks or so, and then you put them in. And I just want to take a moment to invite you to subscribe to my channel if you've never done so before. I upload every Thursday gardening topics, tips, and tours. I love exchanging ideas with fellow gardeners, so be sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell twice if you have never done so before. So let's take a further look to see what else they have for us. So we're going to look at containers now, and this is a very nice one here, $29.98, and I think it's really cute, very gorgeous. And of course, you have different sizes that suits your needs. But bear in mind, guys, that some of these, and they have the saucers too, but bear in mind that some of these are planters. They're not really like containers to put your, like flower pots. So you want to make sure they have a hole in the bottom. If they don't, then if you're going to put a pot in that pot, make sure that it has holes and that there is some gap from the bottom so the water has a place to go and it's not going to drown your plants out. Because if the roots are sitting in water all the time, then they're going to die out because they can't breathe. So bear those things in mind when you get your containers, or you can even put a saucer in it and then put your plant on top of the saucer inside of that pot. And these are some trellises over here. My husband was kind of like taking a look at it, pulling it out for me just so we could see it. And that's what they were looking like there. And I thought the prices were pretty good because trellises, they're very important for, your runners, your climbers, your vines, and all of that. And these are pretty sturdy. I like the color, it blends in very well. And so the plant gets to pop and show itself. So, if you're using it for flowers, then definitely go for these. You can have the ones that are not as fancy for like your vegetables. And over here now they had some garden beds, and I thought that this was really nice. A good way to start out, especially if you're limited space or you're new to gardening, start smaller and then you can always, do more as you go along. And over here, this is a metal rolling garden cart. So you can always, store your tools on there, things you're working with. You don't have to bend over when you're, doing things for your garden. And moving on inside now, inside the store, they have this landscape edging, and it's really good to keep weeds away from your flower beds. I think it's worth it. It's 30 feet that you're getting. You can see the height there. These are some little trellises here. They have 8 by 18 inches. So there are a couple of them that are put together. You can just go ahead and stack it. And I think, it's an inexpensive way to like add a little bit more, charm to your garden instead of just having it there. These are the wooden ones that they have, and you can actually paint these. It's actually upside down, so you'd have to flip it over, but you can always paint them in your favorite color, just to add your own personal style to your garden. And then over here now they have some wind chimes, display only. Of course, they have the ones in the boxes below, but there's something to suit everyone. Whether you want something that's more minimalistic, you want something that's a little bit more elegant, it just depends on what you're going for. But there is something there for everyone, I believe. I like hummingbirds, so I think those are really cute. You can tell me what you think in the comments, and you can see how much you were going for. $14.88. So there's a lot to choose from there, guys. And I had to touch these just to see how they sounded, because I'd never seen those before, and I thought, will they break? I hope not. Over here now they have some watering cans. These were for $4.97, different colors. And it's pretty lightweight, but it feels strong enough to, do the job, which is to carry the water around with the least amount of weight and just water your plants. And these are more for indoors, kind of fancy, I think. And they have a larger one off to the side there. And that one, I like it because I think you can use this for watering your plant, but you can also use it for decorative purposes. You can maybe put some flowers in there, and that's so cute on a spring porch, I think. Or even fall or summer. And over here now they have some tools. This scoop, I'm not so sure about that. I don't like the way it was shaped. I'm not sure what I'd use that to do. But everybody has their own thing that they do. But I'm just showing them to you so you can decide what you want. But pruners, something you'll definitely need to have. Cultivators, and your trowel. Those are a must in the garden. And then over here now, these are some lights, solar lights. You put the stakes in and they light up at night. So that's your kind of style. If this is gonna appeal to you, then I'd say definitely go for it. Could give it a try and see how it goes. And of course, they have different colors based on what you want. And these, I think, are a little bit more whimsical, you know, like little garden statuaries, art. That looks like little Franklin to me that my sons used to watch. And, you know, they're just so, especially if you have little kids coming over, I think that they're just so cute. And I think that this will really make them want to be a part of the garden. You know, get your kids involved, guys. You know, your kids and your grandkids, especially when they're younger, they can help you and they can get an appreciation for the garden. And they're going to thank you for it later on. Now, some people use worm castings, you know, to help to amend the garden soil. So that's something that you're looking into. This is the price that they're going for here. There's also bone meal that they have and blood meal and all the other things that you might want. So I wanted to show you those as well too, just in case that's something that you were considering. So, and they have alfalfa meal, which I wasn't familiar with that one. So that's something new for me there. More organics there again. That's something that you want to use to amend your soil. That looks like mushrooms along with beneficial bacteria that they have in that one over there. And now we're back outside, guys, because it's about to be time to say goodbye. We have some beautiful peach trees over here, and it's really time to plant these now once again because they don't like, you know, like the shrubs, they don't like to have to come up through the heat. So it's better to have them established before. These are some beautiful dogwood trees right here, and I love dogwood, and these haven't bloomed yet. You know, they're still waiting because it hasn't gotten to their point yet, but it's a pretty decent price, I think, for something that's going to last for years and years and just get larger and larger. And these are the Japanese maple. They're usually a little bit more in price because Japanese maples are expensive, and you can understand why. They're just so elegant to me. You can tell me what you think about those. And I've been seeing a lot of Eastern redbud in my area this year. They're so gorgeous. They're very pretty. You can see how they look there. And then when they open up, they're a little bit more of a I'd say more of a pink color when they open up. But they're gorgeous plants. So I want to thank you for coming along with me today. I hope it gave you some great ideas as you plan and start, you know, doing your garden for the spring. I do want to thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. If you haven't done so, be sure to do so. It helps me to grow. And I certainly hope to see you in the next video. And I wish you happy gardening and happy spring. Take care.